Hello everyone, myself Vinay Kumaram. I am pursuing PhD in physics. So in this particular YouTube channel, I'll be teaching physics, chemistry and mathematics starting from 8th standard till 12th standard. So if you want to learn physics, chemistry and mathematics, then please do subscribe to my channel. So in my previous videos, I was actually explaining the third chapter in 9th standard mathematics that was on coordinate geometry. Most of the concepts and also exercise 3.1 I have covered in my previous videos. So you can refer those videos. And I have also explained you what you mean by x coordinate, and this x coordinate is generally known as abscissa. So this particular x coordinate is generally known as abscissa, and y coordinate is generally known as ordinate, and this x coordinate is the perpendicular line drawn from the point to the y-axis, and y-coordinate is the perpendicular line drawn from the point to the x-axis. So now, based on this, we will look into example 1 and example 2. And always remember, whenever you have an axis like this, like if you are drawing x-axis and y-axis, so this entire plane is known as coordinate plane. This entire plane is known as coordinate plane, or it is also known as Cartesian plane. So this particular Cartesian plane has two dimensions. So that is, one is y-axis and other is x-axis, which we call as coordinate axis. And this plane can also be known as xy plane, because here x and y axis we are considering. So that's why this is known as xy plane, or it can be known as coordinate plane and Cartesian plane. And these two x and y axis are known as coordinate axis. So all these things I have explained in my previous video. Now based on this, we will try to solve example 1 in this particular chapter. So in example 1, they have given one particular figure over here. So now I'll draw this figure. So after drawing this figure, we'll look into the example. So this is an xy plane. So here we have 4 different points. One is B, another is S, L and M. Here you have coordinates for all these points. That is, one is x coordinate and y coordinate. So for B, this is the x coordinate and this is the y coordinate. For M, this is the x coordinate, this is the y coordinate. For L, this is the x coordinate, this is the y coordinate. For S, this is the x coordinate, this is the y coordinate. Here they have asked few questions in this particular example 1. Based on this figure, you have to explain those questions. Like you have to give the answers for those questions. So here if we look into the first question in example 1, here they have asked the abscissa and ordinate of the point B. So that means point B, for point B you have to say what is the abscissa and ordinate. So here abscissa of point B and ordinate of point B. So abscissa is nothing but x coordinate and ordinate is nothing but y coordinate. Now here abscissa is x coordinate. So here you can see this acts as the x coordinate. X coordinate is the perpendicular line drawn from the point to the y axis. So that means that particular x coordinate will be parallel to the x axis. So that means this is the x coordinate or the abscissa of point B, which is perpendicular to y axis, and the length of this particular coordinate, that is x coordinate, here you can clearly see it is parallel to x axis. So that means 4 units is the length of this particular x coordinate, which is this x coordinate is perpendicular to y axis, and the unit of this particular x coordinate is 4 units. So that means abscissa of point B is 4. Here specifically you have to mention plus 4 because it is in the plus x axis. So here, because this particular x coordinate is parallel to plus x axis and this y coordinate is also parallel to plus y axis. So for point B, both will be plus and plus. So now we have to identify ordinate. So ordinate means this is the ordinate. So this is the ordinate for B. So this is nothing but y coordinate. So y coordinate means this is parallel to y axis, or this y coordinate is perpendicular to x axis. So what will be the length of this? Here you can see 3 units. So from here to here it is 3 units length. So that means ordinate is equal to 3 for point B. So point B's ordinate is plus 3, because here also plus y-axis is considered. So now what will be the coordinates of this particular point B? So while writing coordinates, you have to use B of, this is the name of the point, of, in bracket you have to give two numbers. So the first number will be x coordinate number, second number will be the y coordinate number. So your x coordinate is abscissa, which is plus 4, and y coordinate is ordinate, which is plus 3. So that means plus 4 comma plus 3 is the coordinate of this particular point B. Now we'll look into the second question in this particular example. Here the x coordinate and y coordinate of the point M you have to find out. Basically here also they are asking abscissa and ordinate. But in the place of using abscissa and ordinate, they are using the word x coordinate and y coordinate. That's it. So now you have to find for M. So for M, x coordinate, so x coordinate you have to find, and also you have to find the y coordinate also for this particular M. So here in this diagram, here you have M. So here you have plus y axis and minus x axis. So that means in this second quadrant, y axis is positive, x axis is negative. So x coordinate will be negative. So this is the x coordinate for M, which is perpendicular to y axis. And here you can clearly see minus 3 is the unit. So because this is parallel to this, so minus 3 is the unit. This is the y coordinate, which is perpendicular to negative x axis, and this is parallel to this particular y axis. So this unit is plus 4 minus 3. So that means here first you have to write the x coordinate number, then you have to write the y coordinate number. So that means here x coordinate is minus 3, y coordinate is plus 4. So here you can see minus 3 is the x coordinate, plus 4 is the y coordinate. So now how to write the coordinate of this particular the M point? So that you can write as capital M of minus 3 comma plus 4. So like this you can solve the third question and fourth question in this particular example 1. Now coming to example 2, here they have given this coordinate axis, that is x and y axis. So here they have given A, B, C, D and E point, and you have to find out the coordinate of these points. So in previous example only we have solved this. So here we can see we have found out x coordinate and y coordinate, and finally we have wrote this particular coordinate of that particular point. So this is known as coordinate of a particular point. Here this is coordinate of point B, and this was coordinate of point M, where you want x and y coordinate. So similarly here also for in example 2, you can identify the x and y coordinate of this all these points, and you can actually find out the coordinates of that particular point. Now we will try to find the coordinate of point A. So for point A, x coordinate is equal to plus 4. So here you can see A is lying on this, and if you draw perpendicular line from A to y axis, this acts as x coordinate, which is plus 4 in length. So 4 is x coordinate, and y coordinate is 0, because from 4 if you draw perpendicular line to x axis, you cannot draw perpendicular line because this particular point A is already lying on the x axis. So that means the length of that particular y coordinate is 0. So the length of this y coordinate is equal to 0. So what is the coordinate of this particular point A? So coordinate of point A is equal to capital A of plus 4 comma 0. So plus 4 comma 0 you have got. Similarly in second one you have B. So for B it will be B of, here you can clearly see in this part. So for point B, here you can clearly see B is on y axis at this particular position. So x coordinate will be 0 and y coordinate will be plus 3. So 0 comma plus 3. So this is B coordinate. Now coming into the third question, here you have to find C coordinate. Here in C coordinate you can see C is lying on negative x axis, so that means it is at minus 5. So now what is x coordinate? Now we have to draw a perpendicular line to y axis to find x coordinate. So if you draw perpendicular line, it will come to here. So the length of this is minus 5 units. And if you draw perpendicular line from point C to x axis, you can't draw because it is already on the x axis. So that means y coordinate is 0. So that means for C, it will be C of minus 5 comma 0. Similarly, for fourth question, you have D point. So for D point, you can see here D is on negative y-axis. So here you cannot draw perpendicular line to y-axis to get x-coordinate, because in order to get x-coordinate, you have to draw perpendicular line from the point to the y-axis. So here it is already on y-axis, you can't draw perpendicular line to y-axis. So that means x-coordinate is 0. And for y-coordinate, you have to draw perpendicular line to x-axis. So and if you draw perpendicular line to x-axis, so this will be the perpendicular line. So that means it is minus 4 units. So now we are getting D as 0 comma minus 4. Similarly, in fifth one, you have E, and this E is at 2/3 position on this particular x-axis. So that means here E, coordinate of E is E of 2/3, and y coordinate you can't draw because it's already lying on x-axis, so you can't draw perpendicular line to x-axis in order to get y coordinate. So y coordinate will be 0. So 2/3 comma 0 is the coordinate of point E. So now we will move into exercise 3.2. So in exercise 3.2, you have two questions. So coming to the first question in exercise 3.2, here you have to find the answers for the asked questions in this particular first question. So here you have three different questions in first question. So in that first question, you have what is the name of horizontal and vertical lines drawn to determine the position of any point in the Cartesian plane. So in Cartesian plane, or it is also known as coordinate plane, or it is also known as XY plane, because here we are taking this horizontal line and vertical number line. So these two number lines we are taking, and we are naming this as X and we are naming this as Y. So that means this plane can also be known as XY plane, and this XY plane is containing two different axes. One is X axis and the other is Y axis. So here horizontal line is always, so here horizontal line is always X axis and vertical line is Y axis. So horizontal line is X axis and vertical line is known as Y axis. Now coming into the second question, here this entire coordinate plane, or this entire XY plane, or this entire Cartesian plane is divided into four different planes. Here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. So four different planes are there. What are these planes known as? Because it is divided into four different planes, these planes are known as quadrants. Now coming into the third question in this particular first question, here they have asked, write the name of the point where there is two lines intersecting, where this Y and X axis intersect at this particular position, which we name this position as 0th position, which is generally known as O, and this O is nothing but origin. So the origin is the answer for this particular third question. So that means this origin is the point where X and Y axis intersect. Coming to the second question, here you have this particular xy plane. On this xy plane, you have different points. You have B point, you have D point, you have M point, you have L point, you have C point, you have G point, you have E point, you have H point. So all these points are there, and at last you have this central point, that is O. So all these points are there. Based on this particular diagram, you have different questions in this particular second question. Now we will look into the questions which are there in the second questions one by one. So in the first question, you have to mention the coordinates of point B. So in point B, which is the x coordinate, you have to identify, and you have to identify the y coordinate. So x coordinate, y coordinate. So x coordinate is the coordinate which is perpendicular to y axis. So that is this. So here we have point B. So for y axis, if you are drawing a perpendicular line like this, so this acts as x coordinate for B. The length of this x coordinate is minus 5. And the length of this y coordinate, which is perpendicular to x axis, is 2. So that means here minus 5 comma 2 will be the coordinate for this particular B. So minus 5. So minus 5 and plus 2. So that means here B of minus 5 comma 2 will be the coordinate of point B. So my B of minus 5 comma 2 is the coordinate of point B. Now similarly, in second question, you have to identify the coordinate of C. So coordinate of C will be C of, have to find out x and y coordinate of C. So x coordinate means the line which is perpendicular to y axis. So that means this one which is parallel to x axis. So the unit of this is plus 5, because here the x axis is positive and here y axis is negative, and y coordinate is the perpendicular line drawn from point to the x axis. So that means this y coordinate is parallel to y axis and the unit is minus 5. So that means plus 5 comma minus 5. So C of plus 5 comma minus 5 is the coordinate of point C. So now in third question, they have given the reverse. That means they have given the coordinates. You have to identify which is that particular point. So now the coordinates which they have given in third question is minus 3 comma minus 5. So minus 3 will be the x coordinates value. So that means it will be in the negative x axis. So this is minus 3. And here we have minus 5. So minus 5 means that is also in negative y axis side. So that means here this is minus 5. Now if you draw perpendicular line from this minus 3 and if you draw perpendicular line from minus 5, these two perpendicular lines meet at this particular point, which is point E. So that means here the answer for this third question in this exercise 3.2 is point E. Similarly, in fourth question, you have 2 comma minus 4. Here you have plus 2, that is in the plus x axis. So this is the plus x axis, and you have one more number which is minus 4, that is y coordinate. So minus 4 is here. So if you draw perpendicular line from minus 4 and plus 2, that will meet somewhere around this point, which is G. So answer for this particular fourth question is point G. Now coming to the fifth question, here you have to identify abscissa of point D. Here you have to identify abscissa of point D. Abscissa is nothing but x coordinate. So abscissa is nothing but x coordinate of point D. So what is x coordinate? X coordinate is the coordinate which is perpendicular from the point to y axis. So here let us identify the point D in this particular diagram. We have point D here. So now we have to identify x coordinate. So now we have to find out the value for x coordinate. So x coordinate means this one which is perpendicular to y axis. So what is the unit of this x coordinate? It is plus 6. So abscissa of point D is 6. Now coming into the sixth question, here you have to identify ordinate of point H. So here you have to identify ordinate of point H. So ordinate is nothing but y coordinate. So now you have to find out y coordinate of point H. Y coordinate means it is the perpendicular line drawn to the x-axis from that particular point H. So here let us identify point H. So point H is somewhere here. So now you have to find out ordinate, which is y coordinate, which should be perpendicular to x-axis. So that is nothing but this particular line. So what is the length of this y coordinate? It is minus 3. So minus 3 is the y coordinate of point H. So in seventh question, you have to identify the coordinates of point L. So here you have to see where is L. So L is somewhere here. You can see L I have written here. So this is L. So L is it at plus 5 position on y axis. So that means if you draw the perpendicular line from this L to x axis, that will be the y coordinate. So y coordinate is plus 5, and if you draw perpendicular line from L to y axis, that will be the x coordinate of point L. But here you can't draw that because already the point is on y axis. So that means x coordinate is 0. So 0 comma plus 5 is the coordinate of this particular point L. Similarly, you have to find out the coordinate of point M. So here coordinate of point M will be minus 3 comma 0, because point M is already on x-axis. Because point M is on x-axis, so that means x coordinate will be the perpendicular line drawn to the y-axis, that is minus 3. And because the point is on x-axis, you can't draw the perpendicular line to x-axis, so that's why y coordinate will be 0. So minus 3 comma 0 is the coordinate of M, and 0 comma plus 5 is the coordinate for point L. This is all there in this particular video. I have covered most of the topics in this particular chapter, and I have also explained examples and exercise 3.1 and 3.2 in this particular chapter. So if you watch all these videos, this particular third chapter in 9th standard mathematics, that is on coordinate geometry, you can understand very well. So like this, if you want to learn more physics, chemistry and mathematics starting from 8th standard till 12th standard, then you have to subscribe to my channel. Please do subscribe to my channel and stay tuned with my channel. Thank you.